Good morning. I am your academic writing teacher. And what I'm doing here now is I am introducing you to this textbook, which has been prescribed in your academic writing to argumentation course for third semester. So as you can see, the name of the book is Everything is an Argument, ninth edition. If you check the courses of study, for example, let me show you uh, in your curriculum, uh, the textbook that was prescribed is listed to have been published in 2007. I guess this should be second, third, or fourth edition, right? But this is ninth edition, the latest edition. I guess this was published in 2021 or 22. This is the latest edition of the book we have. And I decided to use this latest book because there are lots of new things, particularly the reading content is updated to include writings after the COVID period. Do you see anything unusual on the title? Yes, definitely you should have seen it. Everything is an argument. Normally, traditionally, according to grammar, when we write a sentence, the first letter of the first word of a sentence is capitalized. That's obvious rule we have been following. But do you see here, this title breaches this rule. It doesn't obey the rule. Why? And that's why it draws our attention. So, is this trying to say something to us? When the writers decide to use a lowercase e instead of an uppercase e, as the grammar rule would say, so they are expressing a viewpoint about something. And broadly speaking, when you say that everything is an argument, we mean that an argument is a viewpoint. And there are as many viewpoints as there are viewers, right? So every single individual has his or her own different viewpoint. So they have different arguments. So broadly, how can everything be an argument? We can say that everything can be an argument if we define it as a point of view. So by writing this in lowercase, maybe the writers are expressing a point of view about how we write titles. You can see the authors are there. Henry A. Lunsford, John J. Ruskiewicz, I'll pronounce. This is published by Macmillan, as you can see. So we have further information about the book. Let's read. Cultural context for argument. Everything is an argument. Now here you can see the title is in traditional way. The first letter has been capitalized. Everything is an argument contains helpful boxes that invite students to think critically about how people from other perspectives and cultures might respond to different styles or structures of argument, and how to compose arguments for inclusive audiences. Let me point out something here. There's an expression. Let me. I don't know if I can highlight. Okay. To think critically. This is very important when you study arguments. What is thinking critically? John Dewey defines critical thinking in a very simple way. He says that thinking critically is verifying a belief in the light of the evidences furnished. I repeat, critical thinking is verifying a belief system in the light of evidences furnished. Someone says something, why should I believe them? What evidence do they supply to support their claim? And if the evidences or reasons are real, and if the reasons corroborate the conclusion or claims, then I believe them. So being a critical thinker means raising questions. Being a critical thinker means raising doubts. Being a critical thinker means postponing judgment. Don't take a decision. Wait and see. Wait and cross-check the evidences and reasons supplied. Do not justify. Do not judge. Wait if wait and see if there's a bias, personal bias. Maybe you have some sort of psychological bias, cultural bias, political bias, social bias, and your bias is affecting your perception. So you can check for your bias, if any. That's how you become critical thinker. And when you learn writing arguments, you have to be a critical thinker. Okay. Then how people from other perspectives. Look, I was saying earlier that an argument is a perspective. I am a teacher. I am a Brahmin. I am an Aryan. I follow the Hindu Sanatan religion. I am from Nepal. So I have this perspective, cultural perspective. I'm South Asian. So I have South Asian perspective. If I talk to a Chinese, he will bring or she will bring Chinese perspective. So our perspectives are formed by our cultural background, right? So how people from other perspective, other cultures might respond to our argument. It's not necessary that somebody will agree to us, right? We have a perspective, others may have a perspective, and in today's globalized world, when we say that the world has become a global village, and when people from different cultures come together, it's very important that we become tolerant to differing perspectives. If we are not tolerant to differing perspectives, we will end up having conflicts. And one purpose of learning arguments or doing this course is to learn how to accommodate with differing perspectives, right? To learn how to respond to people whose perspectives are different from our perspectives. Then he writes, and how to compose arguments for inclusive audiences. Another phrase we said, we will learn in this course how to compose arguments, writing arguments for inclusive audiences, arguments that can appeal to a variety of audiences, or perspectives that are acceptable to a large number of people coming from various backgrounds. Okay. Then you have these, and maybe these are headings. For example, if you want to jump right into what's normal, you can go to page 30. If you want to study about ethos, you can go to page 55. If you want to focus on logos, you can go to page 76. If you want to focus on organization of the arguments, you can move to page 163. Or if you want to focus on pronouns, you can go to page 329, for example. Okay, these are the topics that we will see inside the textbook. Let's go down and see what else is there. Okay. So the publishers are trying to convince the readers about the text. Let's read it because we are making a video. We are not in the class, so we are not bound by the strict rules of a semester system, it's good that we can cover so many things if because we're making videos. Let's move ahead. Macmillan Learning is committed to the goal of providing equal access to all products, regardless of an individual's age, ability, or situation, and embraces the opportunity to develop services and information technologies that are accessible and usable by all individuals. Accessibility at Macmillan Learning is about extending the power of education to all users. In addition to addressing product compatibility with assistive technologies such as screen reader software, alternative keyboard devices, and voice recognition products, we are working to ensure that the content and platforms we provide are fully accessible. See, the important thing they're saying is that the question of accessibility, making uh, uh, learning equally accessible, making all the products equally accessible regardless of the age of the readers, ability of the readers. For example, just imagine I was blind. Let's not use the word blind. Just imagine I was visually impaired. We have a student at our department who is visually impaired but very brilliant. Just imagine I was visually impaired. Would I still be able to read this text? Probably not. So how can we produce a text that is accessible even to a reader who is visually impaired? Situation. I'm in Kathmandu. I have internet connectivity. I have laptop. I'm connected to the internet. Just imagine I was in Humla, Jumla, or Karnali zone where I didn't have internet connectivity. How will I be able to access this textbook? Right? Then, do you see the argument here? Today, learning has to be accessible. The point they're making, right? Read ahead. Okay. Embraces the opportunity to develop services and information technologies that are accessible and usable by all individuals. Accessibility at Macmillan Learning is about extending the power of education to all users. See the statement, very political statement. Extending the power of education to all users. How can we provide education to all people regardless of their financial and other situations? In addition to addressing product compatibility, look another phrase, product compatibility. For example, this is a product. Look, today textbooks are products like any other products in the market, and they have to compete with other products in terms of marketing forces and economic forces, and they have to be compatible. For example, this is a textbook on academic writing that we have prescribed in humanities for the students of English language and literature. Does this product fit in a course for science students as well? Is this course compatible with computer studies students? Is this course compatible with tourism studies students? So a book has to be compatible with assistive technologies such as screen reader, for example. Can we use a screen reading software to read this textbook? For example, I have opened this textbook PDF version in Foxit Reader. And if I just go to the view section, and if I click on read, and if I activate read, and look what happens. Wait a minute, you will see what happens. Now I say read current page.
Accessibility Macmillan Learning is committed Thego Alof provide injectable access to all products regardless of
The
an
software
individual's
is
ability
reading
or
now.
situation and embraces the opportunity to develop services and information technology is theory accessible and usable by
I
all
can just
individuals.
sit back
Accessibility
relaxing
at Macmillan Learning is
and
about
listen.
extending the power of education to
I
all
can
users not
even
in
choose
addition
the
to
kind of voice
addressing
I
product
want, male, female,
compatibility with
young, old,
assistive
right?
technology such as
Let me
screen readers
deactivate
of
now.
times where all
Okay, so what I was saying, today, the textbooks have to be compatible to the new technology. A screen reading software should be able to read it. Alternative keyboard devices, for example, I can I let me give an example. I can go to comment section here and type, choose typewriter, and then I can insert a text in this PDF file. For example, look, I can key in text in this text. It's not that easy in traditional uh, paper printed books, right? Alternative keyboard devices and voice recognition. Look, products. We are working to ensure that the content and platforms we provide are fully accessible digitally or non-digitally in various media. So they talk about ebooks now. Macmillan Learning became the first education solutions company to become global certified accessible, providing born accessible digital learning options for students with disabilities. Look, bringing digitally accessible versions of the text. Books that are born accessible are developed to ensure that all students, no matter their ability, have the same access to information. Do you see an argument here? There is an implicit argument, not explicit. An implicit argument is a claim that is not expressed but that is implied. And you understand that claim only if you can read between the lines. So what are they claiming here? They're claiming here that today learning has to be 100% accessible. Therefore, we need to adopt new digital technology and come up with ebooks. That's the argument. Read ahead. Books that are born accessible are developed to ensure that all students, no matter their ability, have the same access to information. This is increasingly important for students and instructors as more than 1 out of every 10 students who attends college has disability. A big claim they're making. They're claiming that more than 1 out of every 10 students has some sort of disability. For example, I'm not very good at hearing because I used to use what do you call earbuds for a long time, and I have I'm gradually losing my hearing capacity. Right? Okay. Look, in this paragraph titled "Our ebooks," they make a claim and they give reasons. What claim are they making? The claim they're making is that learning has to be 100% accessible. The reason they're giving is that at least 2 students out of every 10 has some sort of disability. Therefore, learning has to be accessible. Therefore, we must move to ebook technology. See the argument. Claim, reason, evidence. You know, everything you read in almost every subject makes an argument in the sense that it presents a perspective. Let's move ahead. To become global certified accessible, Benetech evaluated Macmillan Learning's workflow for creating accessible books as well as many samples of content across the disciplines. See the content across the discipline. When you say across discipline, you mean from science to management to humanities to psychology to geography. They publish in and certified conformance to the accessible EPUB creation. EPUB is a software that is used to read book like PDF. You have EPUB versions, you have PDF versions. EPUB creation guidelines, which are based on WCAG 2.0 AA plus standards. Look, you can just, if you are, uh, if you can use this link to go to another tab and read more about that. Put in place by the International Standards Organization, ISO, and the publishing community. Using, do you see another argument here? Because we have been globalized, so publishers, book writers have to follow global standards of publication. By international standards organizations and the publishing community, using a collaborative process, Benetech evaluated and provided feedback on more than 100 accessibility features. You can just Google and check what are these features. The certification applies to all books created using Macmillan Learning's updated process, which includes all ebooks with a 2019 copyright and beyond. So in this paragraph, you see the argument. The argument is that we have to follow global criteria for standard so that our books are accessible to all people, so that our books meet the accessibility features, right? I'm reading all these things which are not in a course because I want to show you how every writing makes an argument. Extended descriptions. Okay. In this book, extended descriptions are present for complex images and graphs that may be helpful to understanding content. These extended descriptions can be accessed via a link on this icon. Look, look. Today, the books are interactive. You can interact with a textbook like you are interacting with a living person. For example, you can click on this button, another new tab is open, and you are taken to a new page where there is additional explanation. This feature is not possible with traditional print books, for example. Look, I didn't know this expression, extended description. Sometimes, for example, in traditional printed books, you don't understand something. What do? You're helpless. You check dictionary. The dictionary doesn't have the meaning. What do? You Google, you don't find. But here, if there is a specialized vocabulary or expression or image or picture you don't understand, click there and there is a link and it explains what that is. Right? Extended descriptions are present to explain complex images, complex graphs, right? And any content. And you can activate them by clicking on this I icon. I means internet. Okay, have you seen this is found even in your Android system and mobile phones? Now we have another heading, alternative text. When an image provides important pedagogical information, alternative text, which is also known as alt text, is provided for the image. This text is not visible on the page, but can be accessed and read with the screen. Look, this is surprising. There is something in this book which you cannot read in a hard copy. You must have a soft copy because that can be read only on the screen, right? Suppose there is an image and that picture has information about how to teach it. Then there is an alternative text provided for the image in the printed verse. In the printed version, you have text. In the electronic version, you have a tab. Now, in the electronic version, the text may not be visible on the page, but if you are using the electronic version, you can read that text on the screen. So certain features of the book are available only on the screen, not on the printed page. You see the hybrid nature of text, the visual culture. So you can read them on screen with screen reader technology and other assistive technologies. What are assistive technologies? Technologies that help readers to access a text. Our alt text is written and reviewed by subject matter experts. This is surprising. I didn't know these things before I read this text. I learned a lot of things about how the revolution in digital technology has completely transformed the concept of textbook. Let's move ahead. Color contrast. All of our book designs and illustrations are checked to ensure that they meet contrast requirements for WCAG 2.0 AA. Look, there are global standards that every publisher has to follow, and these are enforced by law. There is a rule about the color contrast. Meeting these color contrast standards ensures why? Ease of use for users with low vision. Look, aren't you surprised to see that today the publishers have to consider the demands of the readers? If I have low vision, I must have a text that is friendly to my vision condition. I may be colorblind and I may not be able to see red color, for example. So there should be a good color contrast in a picture in a textbook so that I can see. If it was 50 years before, the publisher would say, no, you shouldn't read, you're a blind fellow. Today, look, the consumer has become all powerful. See, the capitalistic culture, the writing, publishing. Publishing is a commodity. A, a textbook is a commodity, and the customers are always right. And the producers of the commodity must pay attention to what the customers demand. Meeting these standards ensures ease of use for users with low vision and color blindness and can create a more supportive learning environment for users with learning disabilities. Do you see? Publishers are paying attention to users with learning disabilities, and they are creating textbooks which are 100% accessible to users with learning disabilities. So today, textbooks have to be designed in such a way that they support learning environment. They should be designed in such a way that they are friendly to users with learning disabilities. What I see here is I sense the impact of global capitalistic culture in the field of publication, in the academy. And this is surprising for me. Let's move ahead. Navigation. Ebook navigation is designed to make it easy for users. Look, navigation. For example, if you go to the table of the content of this book, you can click any chapter, you directly enter there. You don't have to scroll through the pages. Ebook navigation is designed to make it easy for users with or without assistive technology to discover and learn from content within the textbook, discovering content within the textbook, and learning from the content within the textbook. The textbook has to be navigation friendly. Text reflows. See the text. See the phrases here. I don't know what is the text reflow. I'll highlight this. It's a technical term. Text reflows when resized so there is no horizontal scrolling on the page, and page numbers are embedded in the book so that students can always find where they are compared to classmates using the print equivalent. See, heading structures are clearly marked up, so it's easy to see where you are within the book as you work your way through. Navigation, you can easily move back and forth through the pages, and even within the page through sections. You click and jump through sections, right? Accessibility help. If you have any questions about the accessibility of this ebook or other Macmillan Learning ebooks, please reach out to us at webaccessibility@macmillan.com. Now, this is another feature. You wouldn't find this feature in traditional textbooks. Now, readers can interact with the publishers. Now, publishers are willing to listen to the readers. They say, you see this feature in commodity production culture, where companies producing goods, they give hotline numbers. You can call them without paying charges, and you can make a complaint if you have one. You can send suggestions, right? The same is happening to books also. So what I see is that the conditions of capitalism are influencing and shaping the academy and the field of learning. Okay, a note about the cover. Let's read this note. Is everything really an argument? See the emphasis on really. It is italicized. Is everything really an argument? Seeing the images on the cover of this book might make you wonder if everything is argument. The surgical masks, for example, in the picture, do we have? Yes, because this ninth edition is published after the COVID, uh, uh, what do you call, pandemic. We have surgical masks. The surgical masks, for example, instantly call to mind the COVID-19 pandemic and debates around mask mandates. In America, we had huge demonstrations, people disagreeing to wear a mask, for example. The pop art design of the image, this image, the cover, pop art design of the image, the pop art design of the image suggests that masks have become a cultural symbol broadcasting the wearer's values. Look, masks as cultural symbols. Can you make a message by the kind of mask you wear? I wear Jockey's branded mask. I had to pay 750 rupees for one piece, whereas you can buy a medical mask just for 5 rupees or 10 rupees. Once I went to a chest specialist wearing that mask, and he told me not to wear that mask, saying that that's harmful. And he advised me to wear 10 rupee medical mask. But when I put on Jockey's branded mask, blue color mask, it not only covers my face or nose, it makes a message to the people around me. So can we make an argument through masks? Can we express certain perspectives, viewpoints by wearing different masks? Right? Everything is an argument. Everything expresses a perspective. Okay, the pop art design of the image. Let me go back here. Maybe this one. suggests that masks have become a cultural symbol broadcasting the wearer's values or style. The sticker with the flag, you can see here, this one, the sticker with the American flag. The sticker with the flag is another wearable argument. You can have a bra with the American flag. One can have panties with the American flag. One can have trousers with the American flag. Can we do that with Nepalese flag? No. No. Somebody will be offended. Right? We can't do that. Okay. The sticker with the flag is another variable argument that boasts support for voting by mail. Look, perhaps implying that doing so is more patriotic. So do you see how everything is an argument? Because every picture here is expressing a viewpoint. This card, postcard, or this ticket postal stamp is saying that we must have a legal provision to allow voting by mail, right? What does the student in front of the open laptop tell us about learning or what it means to be a college student in the 21st century? Well, we have here the student with a laptop and a book. Look, she has a textbook as well as a laptop. I bought my first desktop computer almost, I should say, 30 years before. Around 1990 to 93, I bought my first laptop. I was so aware. Why did I buy a laptop? Particularly to help myself in my academic endeavors, right? So have you seen, I come to a class with a laptop. I come to class with a digital camera. I record your class. So does this express certain perspective about me as a teacher? Does my use of technology say something about my academic values? Right? What does the student in front of the open laptop tell us about learning or what it means to be a college student in the 21st century? Why am I making this video for you? Why was it necessary? I didn't do this last year. I didn't do this a couple of years before when I taught the same course to people 3 years before. Why am I doing it now? Why am I changing my pedagogical approach? Does it say something about my academic beliefs and values? Okay. The magnifying glass on fact reminds us to investigate our sources closely. Look, this picture. You're reading something online. You got a source on internet. You are attracted. You like what you're reading. Is that a fact or is that an opinion? Should you trust your source? Why you should trust your source? Why you should not trust your source? Look this picture. This picture also is saying, making an argument. What argument? Hey, stop before you copy. Think critically. Is that a reliable text? Is that a scholarly source? Check the fact. Is it published by Cambridge, Oxford, or Macmillan? Right? Okay. The magnifying glass on fact reminds us to investigate our sources closely, which many argue has become an even more crucial skill in digital age. Yes, we are in digital age when, as David Rothenberg writes in his essay, How the Web is Destroying the Quality of Students' Research Paper, that today in the digital age, in the age of World Wide Web, internet technology, we are overwhelmed by information. And we most of the time have shallow information, and we mistake this shallow information for valuable information, and we suffer. We are in digital age. We can easily have an access to information online. You just write www dot something and you are there. Everything is a click away. Now the question comes, how can we verify? How can we cross check whether what we're reading is reliable source, reliable information? So being able to fact check, being able to examine everything under looking glass is crucial today. What is that looking glass that can help you filter what is useful and what is useless? That looking glass is your critical thinking skills. So if you are a good critical thinker, you can have your own filter that decides whether what you have read just now is useful or useless, right? Do you agree? The police riot shields recall the protests for Black lives and against police brutality. Do you see? Because this book is written by an American author or authors, and because this book primarily aims at American students, not South Asian, this stuff has Western context, and this can be something undesirable for us. But this image could be used to argue against or in support of law enforcement. Look, so you can use this picture. Look, the argument here again. This picture, the police force standing in the street with their uh, toughened glass shields. They also make an argument. What argument? This image could be used to argue against or in support of law enforcement. One can say, no, we need such police force to enforce law and order. Another can say, no, this is inflicting violence on people. Police force breaches human right by inflicting violence on citizens. So you can make argument in favor of police force and against police force, right? Depending on the context. What's your take? Why don't you write a paragraph, right, on law enforcement? Let me just think of an assignment. Here is an assignment. Students, pause the video, note the assignment. Assignment 1. Carefully examine this purple circle. Pay attention to the visual contrast of this image. Purple, yellow, white, light blue, pinkish red, color contrast. And write a paragraph where you analyze the interaction between verbal and visual in this image. I repeat, write a paragraph analyzing the visual, the color, plus the design, style, and the verbal, the words. How do they interact? What is so unusual? Now, once you describe what is there and how it is presented, the next thing you do is, what argument, if any, do you think this image is making? I repeat, what argument, if any, do you think this image is making? I've answered this question previously. You can go back to my video and watch if you don't understand. Or don't watch my video back. You use your mind and write a paragraph. Assignment 1. Assignment 2. Go back to this picture where you see police force having this shield. Now the same thing. Analyze the image for its visual component and verbal component. How colors are used, what images do you see, and what text do you see? And what is the nexus, connection, interaction between the verbal and the visual in that picture? And what perspective or what argument might this picture be making about law enforcement? Write a paragraph. 2. Third, go back to this third image where you can see masks, and first analyze the color contrast in the image, the yellow background and light blue, and then write a paragraph, free paragraph, on what, in your view, might this picture be trying to say. Now come to this picture, fourth picture, where you have this postal ticket, stamp. First, describe the visual image, the color and the pictures, then describe the text, and then try to see if this picture is making any argument by bringing together the verbal and the visual. About what? Now go back to this next picture where you see the student with the blonde hair, with a laptop and hard printed paper book, as you can see. And you can see this student is busy reading very carefully, paying close attention towards his reading. Now first, analyze what this picture is saying about learning today. What does it mean to be a student in 21st century world? Then you can also think, what did it mean to be a student 20 years before? And how new technology, particularly internet technology and the digital technology, has transformed the field of learning and teaching. I repeat, as I make this video for you, I'm also learning. Look, I didn't have these things previously. How has the digital technology transformed the teaching and learning in 21st century? Write a paragraph. Then last picture. First, describe the visual image, the color, the magnifying glass. Then describe the text, what is written, fact. Then write where you might see this kind of picture, where. And then write what claim it might be making, what perspective, what argument. What is fact? Why is it important to sift nanglole chutawno? Why is it important to sift fact from fiction? Why is it important to sift fact from opinion? Right? Even Plato says that opinions don't matter. What matters is fact, the ideas, right? Why? Why, particularly today, in the digital era, when the encyclopedia is a click away, when you enter a search term looking for one answer, and internet gives you 1 million answers, probably 1 billion answers. When you are in the world of artificial intelligence, where you have the chat GPT platform, you type in, you key in your query, and it is the AI that gives the answer, and you submit to a teacher. How can a teacher decide if this is an answer coming from your mind or from your laptop? How can a teacher check fact now in the world of AI? Thing like that. So you're writing how many paragraphs? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 paragraphs together. That becomes your essay on the topic, my analysis of the cover page of my textbook. So you're writing an essay, at least 6 paragraph essay. If you add an introduction essay, it will be a 7 paragraph essay. And if you have a conclusion paragraph, it's 8 paragraph essay. Introduction, conclusion, and 6 paragraphs. And the topic, my analysis of the cover page of my textbook in academic writing 2 course. And we will be writing an essay about visual analysis because our cover is a visual content. This is primarily a visual content. And if you do this assignment, watching my video, you will be learning visual analysis, right? So I stop here. This is a good component in a segment that covers, what did I cover today? Let me go back and see what I covered. I began this video from the cover page, right? And then I read almost everything line by line. I read about accessibility, the argument they make. I read about ebooks, the argument they make. And if you remember, I have given you assignment here also. I said you make an outline, point-wise outline. Make a point-wise 1-word outline, 2-word outline for every paragraph, every section. Summarize accessibility in few words. Summarize ebooks in 1 word or 1 sentence. Summarize extended descriptions in 1 word. Summarize alternative text in 1 word. Summarize color contrast in 1 word. I mean 1 word, 2 word, 1 sentence. Summarize navigation, or you can say write the claim. Optional, you can summarize every paragraph as the central claim that a paragraph makes. Then what we did, we read about the cover, the discussion about the cover, and I gave you the assignment, right? So I'm also tired. I was making a video for you, and I went to bed around 3 in the morning, and my family, my spouse was quite angry. She was tired. She was very angry at me because I didn't have sleep. And I was so motivated that I decided to make yet another video for you right in the morning. And thank God I spent my morning doing something academic for my students. If I request you to give me a feedback on this video. Am I speaking too fast? Right? Oh, I have one fear. I don't know if, God, I don't know if you could see the screens. I don't know. So I stop here and I'll take a rest for half an hour. Then I'll make a third video for you.